Jake Morrison stared at the stars through the bridge window of his ship, the Aurora's Edge. He had been out here for 3 months now, exploring space that no human had ever seen before. The silence was peaceful, but Jake knew that could change. In an instant. "Sir, I'm picking up something strange," said Lisa Park from her station. She was the best navigation officer Jake had ever worked with. Her fingers moved quickly over the controls as she tried to make sense of what she was seeing. "What kind of strange?" Jake asked, walking over to look at her screen. "It's a signal. Very weak, but definitely artificial. It's coming from the direction of the Vega system." Ryan Cole looked up from his communication station. He was young but sharp, and Jake trusted his judgment. "That's impossible, sir. There are no human ships out that far. We're the furthest from Earth right now." Jake felt his stomach tighten. If it wasn't human, then it was something else entirely. "Can you clean up the signal, Ryan?" "I'm trying, sir. It's heavily encrypted, but I think I can break through it." Maria Santos spoke up from the engineering station. She had kept their ship running through more dangerous situations than Jake could count. "Captain, if this is what I think it is, we need to be very careful. If there are aliens out here, they might not be friendly." Jake nodded. Maria was right to be worried. Humans had been traveling to other star systems for only 20 years. They had found planets that could support life, but no intelligent aliens. Until now, maybe. "Got it," Ryan said suddenly. His face went pale as he listened to his headphones. "Sir, you need to hear this." Jake put on a headset and listened. The voice was clearly not human. It spoke in clicks and whistles, but somehow Ryan's computer was translating it into English. "The young species on the third planet of the yellow star has developed faster than light travel," the alien voice said. "This makes them a threat to the natural order. The Council of 12 has voted. They must be eliminated before they can." Spread further. Jake's blood ran cold. The third planet of a yellow star. That was Earth. The message continued. "Phase 1 will begin in 6 months. Fleet Commander Zethkar will lead the assault. All colonies of the species called humans will be destroyed first. Then their home world will be cleansed. This is the will of the hegemony." Lisa gasped. "They're talking about us. They're planning to attack Earth." The alien voice kept talking, giving details about troop movements and ship positions. Jake realized they were listening to military orders. The aliens had fleets of warships scattered across dozens of star systems. Humans had maybe 100. Military ships total, and most of those were just patrol boats. "Ryan, are you recording this?" Jake asked. "Every word, sir." "Good. We need to get this information back to Earth as fast as possible." Suddenly, alarms started blaring all over the bridge. Maria jumped up from her station. "Captain, we've got company. 3 ships just dropped out of hyperspace behind us." Jake looked at the main screen. 3 sleek, dark ships were moving toward them. They didn't look like anything humans had ever built. "Can we outrun them?" "Maybe," Maria said, her hands flying over her controls. "But they're fast." "Do it. Get us out of here." The Aurora's Edge jumped to hyperspace, but something was wrong. The ship shook violently, and sparks flew from several control panels. "They hit us with some kind of weapon before we jumped," Maria reported. "It damaged our hyperspace drive. We can't make another jump for at least 6 hours." "Where are we?" Jake asked. Lisa checked her instruments. "We're in the Ross 128 system. There's an asteroid field nearby. We might be able to hide there." Jake made his decision. "Do it. Take us into the asteroids." The next few hours were the longest of Jake's life. They hid their ship deep inside the asteroid field, powered down all non-essential systems, and waited. The alien ships searched for them, coming close several times, but they never found the Aurora's Edge. While they waited, Ryan continued to intercept alien messages. The news got worse and worse. The aliens called themselves the hegemony, and they had been destroying younger species for thousands of years. Humans were just the latest on their list. "They've done this before," Ryan said quietly. "Lots of times. There used to be dozens of species in this part of the galaxy. The hegemony killed them all." Maria worked frantically to repair their damaged systems. "I can fix the hyperspace drive, but it's going to take time. Maybe 12 hours. Jake paced. The bridge. Every minute they stayed here was another minute the aliens got closer to Earth. But if they left before the repairs were complete, they might not make it home at all. "Sir," Lisa said, "I've been thinking about their attack plan. They said 6 months, but if they know we intercepted their messages, they might speed up their timeline." Jake realized she was right. The aliens might attack Earth sooner than planned if they knew humans had discovered their intentions. After what felt like forever, Maria finally announced that the repairs were complete. "The hyperspace drive is working, but barely. We should make it to Earth, but don't expect any detours." Jake sat in his captain's chair and took a deep breath. Set course for Earth, maximum speed. As the Aurora's edge jumped back into hyperspace, Jake stared at the alien message transcripts on his screen. Humanity was about to face its greatest test. The question was, would they be ready for it? The ship raced through space toward Earth, carrying the most important message in human history. Behind them, somewhere in the darkness, alien warships were already beginning to move toward human space. War was coming, and Earth didn't even know it yet. Admiral Karen Wells stood in the command center of Linda Base, staring at the holographic display that showed the outer edges of human space. Red dots marked alien ship movements, and there were too many of them to count. "How long until they reach our colonies?" she asked. Colonel Tom Bradley, her intelligence officer, checked his tablet. "Based on Captain Morrison's data, maybe 3 weeks. They're moving faster than we expected." Karen felt the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. She commanded humanity's entire space defense force, but it suddenly seemed very small compared to what they were facing. "What about Earth's government? Are they taking this seriously?" "President Carter has called an emergency session in the World Council," Tom replied. "But some members still think this might be a hoax." Karen wanted to scream. Even with recordings of alien communications and clear evidence of approaching fleets, some politicians still refused to believe the threat was real. Captain Alex Turner entered the command center. He was young for a ship captain, but he had proven himself in several pirate encounters near the frontier colonies. "Admiral, the Defiant is ready for patrol." "Where do you want us?" Karen pointed to the holographic display. "Proxima Centauri system. Our long-range sensors detected 3 alien ships heading in that direction. Find them and see what they're capable of." Alex nodded. "Understood. What are our rules of engagement?" "If they're in human space without permission, consider them hostile. But be careful, Alex. We need to learn about their technology, not just blow them up." 2 days later, Alex Turner faced his first alien warship. The Defiant and 2 escort ships had found the alien scouts exactly where Karen predicted they would be. "Sir, the alien ship is bigger than ours," reported Lieutenant Sam Davis from the weapons station. "But our sensors show it has some weak spots." Alex studied the enemy vessel. It was sleek and dark, with strange curves that didn't follow any human design principles. "Can we communicate with them?" "I'm trying, sir," said Communications Officer Jenny Lee. "But they're not responding to any of our signals." Suddenly, the alien ship opened fire. Bright energy beams lanced toward the Defiant, but Alex was ready. All ships, evasive maneuvers, return fire. The battle was intense but short. The human ships were smaller and faster than the alien vessel, and Alex used that to his advantage. He ordered his ships to attack from different angles, never staying in one place long enough for the aliens to get a good shot. "Their shields are down," Sam reported. "Target their engines, not their weapons," Alex ordered. "I want to capture that ship if possible." But the aliens had other ideas. As soon as their shields failed, the alien ship exploded in a brilliant flash of light. "They destroyed themselves rather than be captured," Jenny said with amazement. Alex frowned. "Send a message to Admiral Wells. Tell her the aliens are willing to die rather than let us learn their secrets." Back on Luna Base, Karen received Alex's report with growing concern. These aliens were not just powerful, they were also fanatically dedicated to their mission. "Admiral," Tom Bradley said, holding up a communication device, "I've got President Carter on the secure channel." Karen accepted the call. President Helen Carter appeared on the screen, looking tired and worried. "Admiral Wells, I need your honest assessment. Can we win this war?" Karen thought carefully before answering. "Madam President, we're outnumbered. At least 50 to 1. Their ships are more advanced than ours, but we do have some advantages." "What advantages?" "We're fighting for our survival. That makes humans very dangerous. Also, Captain Morrison's intelligence suggests the aliens haven't faced serious resistance in thousands of years. They might not be prepared for a real fight." President Carter nodded. "The World Council has agreed to your mobilization plan. Every shipyard in human space is now working around the clock to build warships, but we need time." "How much time can you give me?" "Dr. Kim's research team thinks they can develop new weapons based on the alien wreckage Captain Turner recovered." "Maybe 6 months." Karen shook her head. "We don't have 6 months. The aliens will be here in weeks. Then we make our stand with what we have." The conversation was interrupted by an urgent alarm. Lieutenant Carol Johnson rushed into the command center. "Admiral, we're receiving a transmission from the alien fleet. It's on all frequencies. They want everyone to hear it." The main screen flickered, and an alien face appeared. It was reptilian, with large eyes and no visible nose. When it spoke, the computer translated its words into English. "I am Ambassador Zethkar of the Hegemony," the alien said. "Your species has been judged and found wanting. You will surrender all weapons and submit to guided extinction, or we will destroy you completely." President Carter appeared on a split screen. "This is President Carter of Earth. We demand negotiations. Surely we can reach some peaceful solution." The alien's response was chilling. "There will be no negotiations. Your species is too dangerous to be allowed to spread among the stars. You have 1 day to surrender." The transmission ended, leaving the command center in stunned silence. "Admiral," Tom Bradley said quietly, "what happens if they refuse to negotiate?" Karen didn't need to wait long for an answer. 6 hours later, every human ship in the galaxy received the same horrifying message. The colony world of New Geneva, home to 2 million people, had been completely destroyed. The alien message was simple. This is what happens to those who defy the hegemony. Surrender now, or share their fate. Karen stared at the tactical display, showing where New Geneva used. To be. Now there was nothing but empty space and debris. "Ma'am?" Tom Bradley asked softly. Karen turned to face her staff. Her voice was steady, but her eyes burned with rage. "Send a message to all fleet commanders. Tell them the talking is over. As of right now, humanity is at war." She walked to the communication station and opened a channel to Earth. "President Carter, this is Admiral Wells. I recommend you address the people of Earth immediately. They need to know what we're facing." On Earth, President Carter stood before the cameras in the Emergency Broadcast Center. Her words would be remembered for generations. "My fellow humans, Today we learned that we are not alone in the universe. We also learned that there are those who would see us destroyed simply for reaching toward the stars. They have murdered 2 million innocent people to make their point, but they have made a terrible mistake. They have shown us that there can be no peace, no compromise, and no mercy. We will fight them with everything we have, and we will not stop until they are defeated. In space stations and colonies across human territory, people watched their president declare war on an enemy they had never seen. Some were afraid, some were angry, but most felt something else entirely. They felt defiant. The aliens had silenced one messenger, but they had awakened something far more dangerous. An entire species that refused to go quietly into extinction. President Helen Carter walked into the emergency session of the World Council with tears still fresh in her eyes. The images from New Geneva haunted her, twisted metal and debris where a thriving city used to stand. 2 million people gone in an instant. Ladies and gentlemen, she began, her voice steady despite her grief. We are no longer debating whether this threat is real. We are deciding how humanity will respond to genocide. Defense Minister Paul Rodriguez stood up from his seat. He was a former military officer who had seen combat in the colonial border wars. Madam President, I've been working with our military leaders on something we're calling Project Thunderbolt. It's ambitious, but it might be our only chance. Tell me. Paul activated a holographic display that showed Earth's industrial centers. We convert every factory, every shipyard, every manufacturing plant to war production. In 90 days, we can triple our military capacity. Council member Rebecca Stone from the European Federation raised her hand. The economic cost would be enormous. We're talking about shutting down civilian production entirely. Council member Stone, Helen replied, what's the economic cost of extinction? The room fell silent. Everyone understood the choice they faced. Doctor. Susan Kim entered the chamber carrying a briefcase. She was the head of the Prometheus Research Initiative, humanity's most advanced weapons development program. Dr. Kim, Helen said, please tell us you have good news. Susan opened her briefcase and pulled out a small device that glowed with blue energy. This is a quantum torpedo warhead, reverse-engineered from the alien ship debris Captain Turner recovered. One of these can destroy a ship 10 times larger than anything in our fleet. Excited murmurs filled the chamber. Paul Rodriguez leaned forward. How many can you make? That's the problem, Susan admitted. The manufacturing process requires materials we can only get from deep space mining operations. We can make maybe a dozen per month with our current resources. Then we expand mining operations, Helen decided. What else do you have? Susan smiled for the first time since entering the room. Plasma cannons and shield generators. The aliens use energy-based weapons that are incredibly powerful, but have one weakness. They require enormous amounts of power to operate continuously. Meaning what, exactly? Meaning, if we can make them fight longer battles, their weapons will become less effective over time. Our kinetic weapons don't have that limitation. Admiral Wells appeared on the main screen via secure connection from Luna Base. Madam President, I have a proposal for an offensive operation. I'm listening. We send stealth ships deep into alien territory to disrupt their supply lines and gather intelligence. Hit-and-run tactics. Make them worry about defending their own systems instead of just attacking ours. Helen nodded. Who would lead such a mission? Captain Morrison has volunteered. He knows alien space better than anyone, and he's proven he can operate behind enemy lines. Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his new ship, the Phantom. It was smaller than the Aurora's Edge, but packed with the latest stealth technology. Around him, 15 other captains prepared for the most dangerous mission in human history. Captain Tony Chun commanded the stealth ship Shadow. He had been a test pilot before the war and was known for taking calculated risks. "Jake, are you sure about this plan?" "We're going to be completely cut off from backup." "That's the point," Jake replied. "The aliens expect us to defend our colonies and wait for them to attack. They won't expect us to bring the fight to them." Lieutenant Commander Amy Foster adjusted her flight suit. She would lead a squadron of the new Phantom-class fighters, small, fast ships designed to strike targets and disappear before the enemy could respond. "Sir," she said, "intelligence reports show alien supply convoys moving through the Rigel sector. If we can hit those, we might slow down their advance toward Earth." Jake studied the star charts on his command screen. The mission would take them further from home than any human had ever traveled in wartime. "Maria," he called to his chief, engineer, who had chosen to stay with him for this mission, "are you sure these stealth systems will work against alien sensors?" Maria Santos looked up from her engineering station. "The technology is based on their own designs, so theoretically, yes. But Jake, we're betting our lives on theoretically." Ryan Cole, now serving as communications specialist for the entire stealth fleet, raised his hand. "Captain, I'm picking up increased alien chatter in the target area. They're definitely moving large amounts of supplies toward human space." "Then it's time to remind them that humans don't wait around to be slaughtered," Jake said. "All ships, engage stealth systems and prepare to jump." Meanwhile, back on Earth, civilian scientist Dr. Ben Clark made a discovery that would change the course of the war. He was studying wreckage from the alien ship when he noticed something strange. "Dr. Kim," he called excitedly, "look at these circuit patterns. They're incredibly complex, but they follow the same basic design throughout the entire ship." "Susan." Kim examined the alien technology under a microscope. "What are you thinking, then?" "I'm thinking these aliens are so advanced that they've become predictable. Look at this. Every system follows identical programming protocols. There's no variation, no creativity. So," Ben pulled up a comparison chart on his computer. "So human technology is chaotic by comparison. We use 12 different programming languages, dozens of design philosophies, and every ship captain modifies their systems differently. To us, that seems inefficient. But to an enemy trying to predict our behavior, it makes us impossible to counter." Susan began to understand. "You're saying their strength is also their weakness." "Exactly. They've been winning for so long that they've stopped adapting. But humans adapt to everything. It's what we do best." Dr. Clark's discovery reached Jake Morrison's fleet just as they prepared to strike their first target, the alien supply. Convoy was exactly where intelligence said it would be, 12 massive cargo ships protected by only 4 escort vessels. "Remember," Jake told his captains over the secure channel, "we're not trying to win a fair fight. We're trying to cause maximum damage and get out alive." The attack lasted only 10 minutes. The stealth ships appeared without warning, launched their torpedoes, and vanished back into space before the aliens could organize a response. 8 of the 12 cargo ships were destroyed, along with 2 escorts. But the real victory was what Ryan Cole discovered in the alien communications during the battle. "Jake, you need to hear this," Ryan said, playing back the recorded alien transmissions. "They're completely confused. They keep asking each other what kind of weapons we used and how we disappeared so quickly. That's good, right? It's better than good. Listen to this part. They're requesting new tactical protocols from there High Command because their current ones don't account for our attack methods." Jake smiled grimly. Dr. Clark had been right. The aliens were so used to winning that they didn't know how to adapt when someone fought back differently. Over the next month, Jake's stealth fleet struck targets across alien space. They hit supply depots, communications relays, and isolated patrol ships. Each attack was different, using tactics the aliens had never seen before. The psychological effect was enormous. For the first time in thousands of years, the hegemony was fighting an enemy that refused to follow the expected patterns. On Earth, President Carter received reports of the stealth fleet's success with growing hope. "Admiral Wells," she said during their daily briefing, "your assessment? The hit-and-run attacks are working better than we hoped. The aliens are having to divert ships to protect their supply lines. That means fewer ships attacking our colonies. What about our military buildup?" Defense Minister Rodriguez smiled. "Project Thunderbolt is ahead of schedule. We'll have over 1,000 new warships ready within 2 months. They won't be as advanced as alien vessels, but they'll have quantum, torpedoes, and plasma cannons." Helen Carter looked out her window at the lights of the city below. Millions of people were working around the clock to prepare for the coming battle. Factories that once made cars now built missile launchers. Entertainment. Companies wrote propaganda to keep morale high. Even children were collecting metal for the war effort. "Paul," she said, "do you think we can actually win this?" Paul Rodriguez was quiet for a long moment. 6 months ago, I would have said no, but the aliens made one critical mistake. "What's that?" "They thought killing 2 million innocent people would make us surrender. Instead, it made us angry. And angry humans are the most dangerous force in the universe." General Sam Rodriguez stood on the command deck of Firebase Alpha, watching alien ships approach the Tau Ceti system. A year of war had changed him. His hair was now gray, and deep lines marked his face, but his eyes still burned with determination. "Sir," reported Captain Mike Taylor from the sensor station, "enemy fleet consists of 47 vessels. They're moving in standard hegemony formation." Sam smiled grimly. After months of studying alien tactics, he had learned that standard was exactly the problem with their enemies. The hegemony did everything by the book, a book that was thousands of years old. "Are the mining platforms in position?" he asked. Lieutenant Colonel Dana Walsh checked her tablet. "All 15 asteroid mining platforms have been converted to mobile weapons stations. They're powered down and drifting, just like you ordered." Sam's plan was crazy, but crazy had been working for humanity. Instead of building traditional space stations to defend Tau Ceti, he had convinced the mining companies to turn their asteroid processors into weapons platforms. To alien sensors, they would look like ordinary mining equipment until they opened fire. "Here they come," Captain Taylor announced. "The alien fleet is entering our defensive perimeter." Sam waited. The key to his plan was patience. The aliens had to get deep into the system before he could spring his trap. "Admiral Morrison to General Rodriguez," came Jake's voice over the communication system. Jake had been promoted after his stealth missions proved so successful. "My fleet is in position behind the gas giant, ready to move on your signal." "Admiral Park to General Rodriguez," came another voice. Lisa Park now commanded her own battle group, including the rebuilt Aurora's Edge. "Stealth squadrons are ready." Sam watched the alien ships move deeper into the system. They showed no signs of caution. Why should they? In 1,000 years of conquest, no primitive species had ever set a trap for the mighty hegemony. "Now," Sam ordered quietly. 15 asteroid mining platforms suddenly came to life. Massive plasma cannons emerged from what the aliens thought were ore processors. Quantum torpedo launchers appeared from mining shafts. In seconds, what looked like a peaceful mining operation became a deadly ambush. The alien fleet was caught completely off guard. Their ships were designed to fight other warships, not mining equipment that suddenly started shooting back. "All platforms, focus fire on their command ships," Sam ordered. "Make them lose coordination." The battle was chaotic and beautiful. Alien vessels tried to return fire, but they couldn't target all the mining platforms at once. Each platform was actually a small asteroid, making them incredibly hard to destroy. Jake Morrison's fleet emerged from behind the gas giant, hitting the alien rear guard while they were still confused by the mining platform ambush. Lisa Park's stealth fighters appeared out of nowhere, targeting alien weapon systems with precision strikes. "Sir," Captain Taylor reported with excitement, "the alien formation is breaking apart. They don't know how to respond to this kind of attack." Sam nodded. The aliens were powerful, but they had grown predictable after centuries of easy victories. Humans, on the other hand, had learned to fight dirty. The battle lasted 6 hours and ended with the complete destruction of the alien fleet. For the first time since the war began, humanity had won a major engagement without losing a single ship. Meanwhile, Captain Lisa Park was leading her own mission deep in alien territory. Her target was the main hegemony supply depot at Arcturus, a massive space station that coordinated logistics for half the alien war fleet. "Ryan," she said to her communications officer, the same Ryan Cole who had served with Jake Morrison, "are you sure about these access codes?" Ryan checked his equipment one more time. "The codes came from the alien prisoners we captured at Tau Ceti. Dr. Kim's team verified them. They should work." Maria Santos, now serving as Lisa's chief engineer, looked up from her station. "Captain, I've been thinking about this mission. If we destroy that supply depot, we'll cripple alien operations in this entire sector." "That's the plan," Lisa replied. "But we have to get close enough first." Their ship, the new Aurora's Edge, was equipped with the latest stealth technology. It could mimic alien ship signatures well enough to fool long-range sensors. But getting close to the supply depot would require more than just technology. It would require pure nerve. "Incoming transmission from the depot," Ryan announced. "They're requesting our identification codes." Lisa took a deep breath. This was the moment of truth. "Send them the captured codes." The seconds ticked by slowly. If the codes didn't work, they would be discovered and destroyed before they could complete their mission. "Code accepted," Ryan said with relief. "They're directing us to docking port 7. Maria, prepare the quantum charges. We'll have maybe 10 minutes before they realize we're not supposed to be here." The Aurora's Edge docked with the alien station without incident. Lisa and her team, wearing captured alien spacesuits, moved quickly through the station's corridors. The layout was exactly as their intelligence had suggested. Aliens were nothing if not consistent in their construction. "Methods." "There," Maria whispered, pointing to a massive room filled with power conduits. "That's the main reactor. If we place charges there, the explosion will take out the entire station." They worked quickly and quietly, placing quantum charges at key points throughout the reactor chamber. Each charge was small enough to hide, but powerful enough to cause massive damage. "Lisa," Ryan said urgently through his radio, "I'm monitoring station communications. They're starting to ask questions about our ship. We need to leave now." The team rushed back to their ship, trying not to run and attract attention. They made it to the docking port just as alarms began to sound throughout the station. "Maria, get us out of here," Lisa shouted as they reached the bridge. The Aurora's Edge undocked and moved away from the station as quickly as possible without looking suspicious. When they were finally a safe distance away, Lisa activated the quantum charges. The explosion was visible from 3 star systems away. The alien supply depot simply vanished, along with enough military supplies to equip 100 warships. Back on Earth, Dr. Susan Kim was making breakthrough discoveries about alien technology, working with captured equipment and alien prisoners. Her team had learned something incredible about hegemony society. "Dr. Clark," she called to her colleague, "look at these genetic scans of the alien prisoners." Ben Clark examined the data on his computer screen. This is impossible. These aren't just different species working together. They're all genetically modified versions of the same basic template. Exactly. The hegemony doesn't just conquer other species, they transform them. Every member of their coalition started as a different race, but was changed to fit their rigid social structure. What does this mean for the war? Susan pulled up another screen showing alien communication. Patterns. It means they literally cannot think outside their programming. Every decision they make follows predetermined patterns that haven't changed in millennia. Dr. Clark began to understand the implications. If we can predict their patterns, we can stay one step ahead of them. Better than that, if we can disrupt their command structure, their entire fleet will be paralyzed. They're not trained to think independently. This information reached Admiral Morrison just as he was planning the largest human offensive of the war, Operation Prometheus. Unbound would target 17 alien command centers simultaneously, attempting to cripple hegemony leadership across multiple star systems. Commander Kate Williams, Jake said to his tactical officer, "Your analysis shows this can work?" Kate Williams was a former computer programmer who had become one of humanity's best strategic planners. Her algorithms could predict alien behavior with frightening accuracy. "Sir, based on captured alien protocols, if we hit their command centers, within a 6-hour window, their fleets will be unable to coordinate a response. Each group will fall back on basic defensive patterns that we can easily counter. And if we're wrong, then we lose most of our fleet in a single day, and Earth falls within a week." Jake stared at the tactical display showing human and alien fleet positions across dozens of star systems. The war had reached a turning point. Humanity could either strike a decisive blow or face complete defeat. "Send the orders," he decided. "All fleet commanders are to attack simultaneously at 0800 tomorrow. Tell them this is our chance to end the war." As human fleets across the galaxy prepared for the largest coordinated attack in their species' history, President Carter addressed the people of Earth one final time before the battle. "Tomorrow, our brave men and women will strike at the heart of the alien war machine. We fight not for conquest, but for the right to exist among the stars. Whatever happens, remember that. We chose to stand and fight rather than kneel and die. That choice defines us as a species." The stage was set for the final confrontation between humanity and the hegemony. One species that had ruled the galaxy for millennia through fear and rigid order. Another that had learned to fight with creativity, courage, and an absolute refusal to surrender. The next 24 hours would determine which approach would triumph. Admiral Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his flagship, Terra's Vengeance, watching the most important battle in human history unfold. Around him, 3,000 human warships faced the combined might of the hegemony fleet at Kepler 442, the aliens' ancient capital world. "Sir," reported Commander Kate Williams from her tactical station, "all human fleets report ready. Operation Prometheus Unbound is a go." Jake looked at the main display showing the massive alien fleet. 1,200 warships protected their homeworld, each one larger and more powerful than anything humanity had built. But humans had learned that size wasn't everything. "Admiral Park, Admiral Turner, are your groups in position?" Jake asked. Over the communication channel. "Stealth squadrons ready," came Lisa Park's voice. She commanded over 200 small, fast ships designed to strike key targets. "Left flank ready to engage," reported Admiral Alex Turner, whose tactical brilliance had saved human colonies throughout the war. Jake took a deep breath. Everything they had learned, every sacrifice they had made, every innovation they had developed. It all came down to this moment. All ships, commence attack. Show them what happens when you try to destroy humanity. The battle began with Lisa Park's stealth fighters appearing inside the alien defensive perimeter. They had used captured, hegemony identification codes to slip past the outer sensors. And now they struck at the alien command ships with devastating precision. Direct hit on alien flagship, reported Lieutenant Commander Amy Foster from her fighter squadron. Their command structure is in chaos. This was exactly what Kate Williams had predicted. The hegemony had become so dependent on centralized command that losing their leadership ships left individual captains unable to adapt to changing battle conditions. Admiral Turner's battle group hit the alien left flank with overwhelming firepower. The new quantum torpedoes proved devastatingly effective against alien shields, while human plasma cannons outranged the enemy's energy weapons. But the aliens were far from helpless. As their initial confusion wore off, they began to fight back, with the desperate fury of a species facing its first real defeat in millennia. Captain Morrison called Commander Ryan Cole from the communications station. "I'm intercepting alien transmissions. They're calling for reinforcements from their reserve fleets." "How long until those reinforcements arrive?" Jake asked. 6 hours, maybe 7. Jake realized they had to win this battle quickly. If hegemony reinforcements arrived before the human fleet could secure victory, Earth would be doomed. "All ships, intensify the attack. We end this now." The Terra's vengeance led the charge toward the center of the alien formation. Around Jake, his crew worked with the smooth efficiency of professionals who had been fighting for their lives for 2 years. Maria Santos, now his chief engineer, called out from her station. "Captain, alien energy weapons are losing power just like Dr. Kim predicted. The rate of fire is dropping. Then we press our advantage. All ships concentrate fire on their heavy cruisers." The battle raged for 12 hours. Human ships darted in and out of alien formations, using their superior maneuverability to avoid the worst of the enemy fire. Each time the aliens tried to reorganize their defenses, Kate Williams' tactical computers predicted their moves, and human commanders struck where they were weakest. The turning point came when Ryan Cole made a crucial discovery. "Admiral, I've cracked their command frequency. Dr. Clark's computer virus is ready to upload." Jake smiled grimly. Dr. Ben Clark's Chaos Protocol was designed specifically to exploit the rigid programming that controlled all hegemony systems. Once it infected their network, it would cause massive system failures throughout their fleet. The virus spread through the alien fleet like wildfire. Ships that had fought for thousands of years suddenly found their weapons offline, their navigation systems confused, and their communication networks jammed with random data. Within an hour, half the alien fleet was drifting helplessly in space. Ambassador Zethkar, the same alien who had demanded humanity's surrender 2 years ago, peered on the main screen. His reptilian features showed emotions Jake had never seen from a hegemony leader before: fear and desperation. "Admiral Morrison of the human fleet," Zethkar said, "I request terms for surrender." Jake looked around his bridge at the men and women who had fought so hard for this moment. Lisa Park appeared on a split screen from her command ship, her face showing the exhaustion of someone who had given everything for victory. Admiral Turner was visible on another screen, his tactical display showing the complete collapse of alien resistance. "President Carter," Jake said, opening a channel to Earth. "The alien commander is requesting surrender terms." President Helen Carter's face appeared on the screen. She looked older than when the war had begun, but her voice was strong and clear. "Admiral Morrison, you have my authority to accept their surrender. But make it clear that humanity will not be satisfied with a simple ceasefire." Jake turned his attention back to the alien ambassador. "Zethkar, here are our terms. The hegemony will immediately cease all military operations against every species in this galaxy. You will release all conquered peoples and allow them to determine their own futures. Your fleets will withdraw to your original home systems and disarm. And if we accept these terms, then humanity will not seek revenge for New Geneva or the other colonies you destroyed. We will establish a new galactic order based on cooperation rather than conquest. Zethkar was quiet for a long moment. Around him, other alien leaders argued in their clicking, whistling language. Finally, he turned back to the screen. We accept your terms, Admiral Morrison. The age of the hegemony is over. The formal surrender took place 3 days later aboard the Terra's Vengeance. Representatives from dozens of species that had lived under hegemony oppression gathered to witness the historic moment. President Carter traveled to Kepler 442 personally to sign the peace treaty. In her speech, she made humanity's intentions clear. We did not fight this war for conquest or revenge. We fought because every species in the galaxy deserves the right to reach for the stars. Today, we establish the Terran Federation, not as rulers, but as protectors of that right. Jake. Morrison stood at the viewing port of his flagship, watching the former hegemony capital world below. Already, human ships were delivering aid to species that had been oppressed for centuries. Medical supplies, food, and technology flowed freely to worlds that had known only servitude. Admiral, Lisa Park said, joining him at the window, "Do you think it will work? This new federation we're building?" Jake thought about all they had been through. The desperate fight for survival, the losses they had endured, the incredible courage displayed by ordinary people facing impossible odds. Lisa. 2 years ago, the entire human fleet consisted of maybe 100 ships. Today, we have 3,000. Not because we wanted to conquer anyone, but because we refused to let our species be destroyed. That's not really an answer to my question. Jake smiled. Humanity has always been at its best when we're helping others achieve what we've achieved. Ourselves. The Federation will work because that's who we are. Ryan Cole appeared beside them, holding a communication device. Admiral, we're receiving messages from human colonies throughout the galaxy. They're reporting that former hegemony slave species are asking for help establishing their own governments. Then we help them, Jake said simply. That's what the Federation is for. Maria Santos joined the group, her engineering uniform replaced by the dress uniform of a Federation naval officer. Jake, I've been thinking about something. The aliens said we were too dangerous to be allowed to spread among the stars. In a way, they were right. How so? We are dangerous to tyrants, to oppressors, to anyone who thinks they can silence the innocent. The galaxy is about to learn that humanity doesn't just fight for its own freedom. We fight for everyone's freedom. 5 years later, Admiral Morrison stood in his office on Federation headquarters, reading reports from across the galaxy. Former hegemony worlds were thriving. Under their new governance, species that had been enslaved for millennia were building their own starships and exploring the galaxy for themselves. A knock at his door interrupted his reading. "Come in." President Carter entered, now serving her second term as the first president of the Terran Federation. "Jake, I have a request." "What can I do for you, Madam President?" "There's a young species in the Andromeda sector that's just developed faster-than-light travel. They're sending out their first exploration ships, and they seem curious about the rest of the universe." Jake smiled. "And you want us to make contact?" "I want us to make sure they get the chance to explore and grow and make their own mistakes, just like we did. I want them to know that the galaxy is big enough for everyone." Jake looked out his window at the bustling spaceport below. Ships from 100 different species came and went, carrying trade goods, settlers, and explorers to every corner of known space. "Set course for the Andromeda sector," he said. "Let's go meet our new neighbors." The message that had started as a threat to humanity's existence had become something entirely different. A promise that no species would ever again face extinction, simply for reaching toward the stars dot in the vast darkness of space. human ships continued their eternal patrol, carrying a simple message T.